next is take the tire off of the rim, okay? And with that, we're going to use a tire lever, so I'm going to add that detail on there. So I'm going to turn to my next page. We'll write the next step. So the last page was page number 2. So after 2 comes 3, so I'm going to label that page. Okay, and now I'm going to write take tire, and I'm remembering to put spaces between my words, off of the rim using a tire lever. And that tire lever was what I drew on the first page on one of the things that one of the tools that we're gonna be using for it. Okay, so now I gotta illustrate what that taking the tire off the rim looks like. So I'm gonna draw the rim. The hub, and these are the spokes. Right, and it keeps the wheel from collapsing. Okay, so there's my rim. So this part here is the rim. This part here is the hub. I'm going to label that. And then on the outside is a tire. So this is the tire. Right, and it goes around it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the rim off. So I'm going to draw the other rim, the other part of the tire here, so you can see the tire has 2 parts. Right? And the tire lever kind of goes like right here, and it helps take it off. So I'll label this is the tire lever. Okay? So now we've taken the tire off of the rim. Okay, and I wrote take tire off of the rim using a tire lever. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. We got a capital letter, spaces, a period. Okay, and it makes sense to me. So I'm gonna move on to the next step. So my next step was take the old tube out and put in the new tube. So I'm gonna go ahead, turn to my next page. After page number 3 comes page number 4. So I got page number 4, and the step was take the old tube out and put in the new tube. Okay, so again, we got the hub, we've got the rim, right, and the tire is here, and now it's got the new tube. So I'm gonna maybe just draw like this, and this, I'll label that and show that that's the new tube. Okay, and it goes in between the tire, inside of the tire, but between the rim and the tire. So again, this is the rim, and here's the tire, and this right here is the new tube. Okay, take the old tube out and put in the new tube. I have a capital letter start, I have spaces between my words, and I have a period. Okay, and my page number. So it's looking good so far. Okay, so after I take the old tire and put the new tube out, or sorry, take the old tube out and put in the new tube, now I gotta put the tire back on the rim. Okay, so my next step is put the tire back on the rim. Okay, so we got the new tube in there. Now we gotta close it all up. So I'm gonna write, after number 4 is 5, I'm gonna put the, oops, that doesn't look good, the tire back on the rim. Okay, so now I'm just going to draw the wheel. Here's the hub again. Okay, we got the rim. Okay, I'll draw the spokes. Okay, and I got my tire. Okay, so we got the rim. I'll label it again, rim, tire, and then inside is the tube, and it looks kind of small right now because it's kind of like a balloon. It's small until you fill it with air, and then it fills up and gets big. So here is the new tube, and everything's closed back up. So this is new tube. Okay, so let me read it to make sure it's what I wanted to say. Put the tire back on the rim. Okay, and I've labeled the different parts. There's the tire, here's the rim. Rim is the metal part. The new tube is inside now. We can see that it's inside of the tire. And it's ready to go for our last step. So our last step was to pump up the new tube and put the wheel back on. So I don't think I'm gonna draw the putting the new wheel back on. I think I'm gonna write that instruction, but I think for my sketch, I'm just gonna show how I pump it up. So I turn the page here, and let's see, last page was 5. I know after 5 comes page 6. So I'll write number 6, and I'll write the last directions, and it was pump up the new tube and put the wheel back on. So right here, pump up the new tube and put the wheel back on. So let me read it again. Pump up the new tube and put the wheel back on. Okay, it looks good to me. I got a capital letter, I got spaces, it's what I wanted to say. I ended with the period, I got my page number. So to do that, right, we got our tire, so I'll draw a tire like this, right, and it's got that was the rim, and here's the tire, and then the tube is inside here. Maybe on this one, I will put some spokes. Okay, and this time I'm just going to label the tube. And right on the tube, there's a thing called a nozzle. So I'm going to write nozzle. And the nozzle is where you put the air. So we're going to connect the pump, and it's got a hose, and it looks like this. And the hose comes out like this, and now it attaches there to our pump, and the pump has a handle, and you push the handle down and it puts air inside the tire this way. So we pump it, move it up and down, and here there's a gauge, and it tells us how much air is in the tires, right? So we know when to stop so we don't pop the tire, okay? So I wrote pump up the new tube and put the new wheel back on. Okay, so now we have completed the task. We have changed and fixed a flat tire. We've changed the tube on the tire so that we can write it again. So now the last thing that I mentioned that I wanted to do is I wanted to do a nice labeled diagram so that my readers can kind of understand if they don't know what some of those words are. So I'm going to draw it really big. I'm going to draw the rim. So right here, rim. And the rim is usually made of a metal, sometimes carbon, if you got a lot of money, but I don't. And then, so we got the rim, and these are the spokes. So I'll label those. Spokes, okay? And then we have the tire. Okay, and I'll make it kind of like, look like my mountain bike tire. It's like this. Got little notches for traction so that it doesn't slip on the dirt. Okay, and here is our tire, so I'll label that's the tire. And then inside is the inner tube. Okay, so right, this part here is the inner tube, And the last thing that I mentioned was the valve. And that's what it's connected to the inner tube, and that's what lets the air go in. Right? So this is called the valve stem. So that valve stem. So let's see, do they need to know anything else to change it? No, they need to know the tire, because we're going to take that off. The spokes, the inner tube is what they're going to be replacing and pumping back up once it's new, and then here's the rim. So I think that about does it. So you guys saw how I started my book on how to change a flat tire, and how I used my graphic organizer, right? I started here. This became my page 1. This became my page 2, take off the wheel. This became my page 3, take off the rim. This became page 4, take the old tube out and put in the new tube. This became page 5, put the new tire back on the rim. This was the new page 6, pump up the new tube and put the wheel back on. And then I added one more page and I drew a picture of a tire iron and labeled it. Okay, so hopefully that'll help you guys in writing your how-to books. I'm really excited to see yours in the next week or so. Maybe you finish it on Friday, maybe you keep working on it, and we can show it to me on Monday's meeting. All right, boys and girls, get busy.